So we are facing a world with very different, many different people, various situations, but there's one thing that should be in common for everybody, which is the rights they have. And you, Professor, are going to talk about this subject.
Thank you very much. Yeah, while the world is a very diverse place, there are certain things which are very common. And one of the common things is the rights of people. And these rights are particularly important over the basic needs of the people. Number two is the whole question of peace, security, and the third element is livelihoods. Now, when we come to the basics, I'm talking of food, shelter, etc. And if you want, you can stay in a 59th floor, but you could also stay in a small hut. So that's your basic right. But it also entails those necessities without which we cannot survive. I'm talking of food, and I'm talking shelter, housing, of course. And all these are embodied in what is called livelihood systems of people. You could be a banker on one end, or you could be a farmer growing your own food. So if you notice, I've talked about a great deal of diversity. Now, we're living in a world in which our media, our information tends to bias it only in the one formal direction. We know very little what's happening elsewhere. And in the course of time, what actually happens is that the rights of others are being abused by the dominance of one particular view. Let's take energy. It's a crisis if you have a car, but if you have never had a car, then you cannot make that problem of the fact that there isn't enough petroleum in the world into somebody else's problem. And I'm afraid we're living in a world in which we are slowly beginning to forget the rights of people. So in the name of climate change, we cut large areas of Africa and say, well, they're desert-like. This is where animals should be living. Let's turn it into a national park. And human beings are evicted from their homelands, like it's what is happening to the Maasai, or that's what's happening to a number of pastoral people across Africa. So that's the first thing. Secondly, in the last 2 years or so, you have said that you need to have alternate fuels to petroleum. And very unfortunately, the third world has become the main focus of biofuels. So land, which is being used to produce food, is now grabbed to produce biofuels. And this, to me, is unethical. It is abusing the rights of other people. And so, in order to make the world a happier place, we need to find alternatives without abusing the rights of others. And frankly, I'm an optimist. There are very many other sources of fuel. Because remember, petroleum has been along with us for only 100 years. So it's something new. It's something very temporary, and we'll have to look for alternatives. Thank you.
May I ask you, what would be the first realistic step you would take to improve the situation?
The first major step is to emphasize that this change is going to take place over a number of years. You don't press the panic button. It did not happen yesterday. Okay? We got to be prepared for that. So that's the first one. And it is exactly because you're buying the time that you can use knowledge for alternatives. So it's not a hopeless world. No way. Okay. And already some of the alternatives are here in terms of renewable. For example, you could use hydrogen as a fuel. The only problem with it is very dangerous, but I'm sure if there's a problem, we'll find a solution. Thank you.